In 1986, our world changed when a new icon was added to the lexicon of familiar symbols that are part of our everyday lives. Interac. Cash, food, gas, transportation, shopping, all became easier to access with the introduction of Interac, which connects Canadians to their money from coast to coast. Today, on a per capita basis, Canadians are world leaders of debit cards. Interac is Canadians' favorite way to pay, with nearly 1 in 2 Canadians saying they use Interac direct payment as their preferred method of payment. More than 80% of Canadians have withdrawn money from an automated banking machine. The Interac network has been processing PIN debit transactions securely for more than 20 years. Interac is committed to providing innovative and secure services, and in order to maintain the long-term security of the network, Interac will be moving to a new generation of payment card technology known as chip technology. So now let's take a look at why there is the need for chip technology. Personal Identification Number PIN Debit provides one of the safest payment systems. However, fraudulent activity can occur. Fraudulent activity known as debit card skimming began to surface in Canada in early 2000 and continues to rise every year.
Debit card skimming is on the rise and has been for a number of years. Debit card skimming consists of the unauthorized and illegal reproduction of the magnetic stripe information that's contained on the debit card. Criminals obtain this information by using hidden surreptitious instruments such as pinhole cameras and card readers to capture not only the information on the card, but also the PIN number entered by the client. Armed with this information, criminals reproduce forged payment cards, which they then use to withdraw funds. Law enforcement works closely with payment card companies, with financial institutions, and with other key stakeholders who all have a vested interest in the reduction and prevention of fraud.
Debit card fraud can affect merchants too. Principally, the concern is about reputation, that no merchant wants to be in the headline on the front page of the newspaper as the source of a skimming operation, the source of a compromise of a customer's card. What they want is to be able to offer their customers safe and secure ways of making payments.
Today, 99.99% of all debit transactions are processed problem-free. However, year over year, industry dollar losses continue to rise in Canada due to debit card fraud. In 2006, $95 million was reimbursed to victims of debit card fraud, up from $70 million in 2005. While debit card fraud represents only a fraction of 1% of all debit transactions, Interac Association and its members do not find this acceptable.
Interac is migrating to chip technology as part of our ongoing commitment to provide a safe and secure payments network for Canadians coast to coast. Essentially, the migration to the evolutionary technology of chip represents taking an already safe payment network and making it even more secure for the long term.
A chip debit card contains an embedded microchip that puts the power of a computer onto the card. This mini computer gives the card the ability to store and process data securely and will allow the card and payment terminal to communicate with one another to carry out enhanced security checks.
The essence of chip technology is basically the cryptography that it uses in order to do lots of forms of authentication during the transaction process. We use many forms of authentication, so we can basically authenticate both the card, the issuer, and also all the transaction data to make sure that that is not changed or somebody in the payment process has not falsified itself as either the card or the issuer. We have secure information in the chip, which is very, very difficult to copy or to extract. And even if possible, you can only get to one card's information.
Chip technology is based on a global standard known as EMV. Chip technology is already in use in many countries around the world. With the introduction of chip cards, some countries have seen a reduction of card skimming by as much as 80%.
We are moving now to the next generation of payment card technology, making an already safe payment system even more secure for Canadians. By putting a microprocessor into the wallet of every Canadian, we really do open up the possibilities for product innovation. But chip is an exciting technology. It offers us the platform to be able to offer new kinds of products and services to consumers and merchants. Retailers will enjoy the benefits of chip first and foremost in knowing that they're offering their customers a safe and secure means of making their purchases at their locations. Beyond that, we also see opportunities for retailers to take advantage of this new chip technology by offering enhanced loyalty programs and other value-added services to their customers.
The chip card looks similar to the debit card currently used by millions of Canadians, but it will contain a small microchip on the front of the card. The back of the card will continue to feature a magnetic stripe so that users can use the card throughout the transition in Canada.
Beyond the end of our own migration, we think that the debit card is still likely to feature a magnetic stripe so that Canadians can use their cards when traveling in other countries that haven't yet made the move to chip.
While the transition to chip is a large initiative for the organizations involved, cardholders will not experience a significant change in the way they use their debit card today.
There is one key difference that consumers will notice. Rather than swiping their card through the magnetic stripe reader as they do today, they'll insert their card into a chip reader and they'll leave it there throughout the transaction. From there, everything is very much the same as it is today.
With a chip card, cardholders will insert the card chip first into the terminal, validate the purchase amount by hitting OK, select the account type, enter the personal identification number and press OK. Wait for the transaction to be completed, remove the card from the terminal and take the receipt. Automated banking machines will be upgraded to chip technology as well. However, cardholders will not experience a change when conducting transactions at most automated banking machines. The first Interac chip transactions are taking place as part of a market trial in Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario, being carried out in collaboration with Canada's major credit card companies. Complete migration to chip technology will take several years given the vast number of automated banking machines, point-of-sale terminals, and banking cards across Canada which must be upgraded. Each financial institution has its own timetable in place, so the introduction of chip will vary from one financial institution to another. Beginning in the fall 2007, merchants and cardholders will start to see the introduction of chip cards, automated banking machines, and payment terminals that feature chip technology. And within 3 years, it is expected that the majority of Canadians will be able to fully benefit from this new technology.
The migration to chip represents the biggest change in the Interac services since the introduction of Interac Direct Payment. Because of the vast amount of ABMs and terminals out there, this is going to take a number of years. We're doing so to enable merchants and terminal providers to make this migration smoothly within their business cycles.
Cardholders and merchants do not have to take any immediate action. Their financial institution or their merchant service provider will contact them at the appropriate time. Until then, cardholders and merchants can continue to use their cards and devices throughout the transition just as they do today, since both magnetic stripe and chip cards will be accepted at every location where debit cards are currently used. Interac, delivering even greater security, convenience, and innovation.